Hello everybody and welcome to Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. Today we're doing the first ever special episode. This is a big episode for season 1 because there's a lot of stuff that's going to go down on this one, so stick around because we're marathoning both parts. Speaking of the both parts, yeah, if you're watching this on Disney Plus, yes, it's divided into 2 parts. But don't worry, we'll take our usual break between both parts since some of us are watching Disney Plus. However, for those of you who might be watching this on Disney or Demand or on the Blu-ray, in which the episode is in its original 44-minute length. We will also I will specifically mention to those of you to stop watching right now. So keep a lookout for that if you're watching that version of the episode. All right, that should do it. All right, we all know how this goes, so let's just start. 3, 2, 1, click.
Hit the home, hit the parties, the polka we bring, and then we'll sing and find out who will be the whatever, see if I got a joke. But yes, this episode is about responsibilities, the magical thing.
And the episode will end with Rapunzel accidentally getting the whole kingdom blown up.
Surprisingly, no. But rest assured that this is very important on the long run. Believe it or not, I had to admit that when I first saw it on this, in order on season 1, while important for season 1, I did not pay too much attention. But let's just say that they're also planting a lot of foreshadowing in this. Also disgusting.
Look at that, the cute little bunny.
It's a killer rabbit. Just destroy it.
Yeah, see,
What?
look,
Did a rabbit piss in your breakfast or something?
Mother Nature's gonna do it.
And suddenly, I guess evil has come to Corona.
And then the series 3 finale. The only way to get rid of the rocks is to kill Rapunzel. Because, golden hair only came out when they started coming up.
You just had to look up spoilers, didn't you, Dwibbs?
Son, you're embarrassing me!
No. How old are you again, by the way, son?
Touch the rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Very good point.
Point.
If you touch the rock, you'll be disintegrated. Or something.
Okay. Another. Okay, like Taylor said, responsibility thing, and Rapunzel is learning from her parents how to, handle the kingdom and shit. Specifically, catering to the subjects.
Oh, thank God. I thought I was going to say, no, not really. We just want to shut the guy up.
Right, in a way, Dweebs, but more in a, positive manner.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it's not like they'll die, since we know that they have to live for the wedding
And again,
special.
stuff from the previous episodes gets, referenced as a, point of reference, but Rapunzel seems to be able to take responsibility, like defending Attila.
So yeah, much like Rapunzel will be temporary queen during these 2 days, Eugene will also be temporary king.
He does not care.
Cover me, everyone.
Listen to
actually
your
does-
children.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually going to learn exactly like
What's
let's
his
just say,
deal?
let's just say him and Frederick have some things in common.
But I'm not a child, son. You're like 15. I know you don't sound it, but you are.
It's interesting you say this because well actually I'll wait till
Hmm.
that's
Arrest him.
hmm.
Oh. Ugh. Yeah,
Yikes.
literally.
Question. Jonathan Banks' character in Breaking Bad, is he known for like...
Drips, but it's a Breaking Bad character.
Everyone fucking lies in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't
there are
seen a whole lot of it.
there are
No, but even Dean Norris' character, which is supposed to be the most honest cop in the world, even lies.
well, there are a few exceptions, but yeah, no, pretty much every main character lies a
I guess
lot.
the only major example might be Walter Jr., but that's because he's so stupid. Like, it's fine.
Don't worry. I'm pretty sure the... Yeah, don't worry. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure...
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pascal is like, I don't know, man.
Don't worry, Your Highness. I'm sure only half the
Oops.
castle will be destroyed.
Forgot the cat on the stove.
Because you gotta follow your heart.
But what if my heart says kill everyone in Corona?
Then tear that
Then
heart
follow
out and
your
replace
heart.
it with a new one. You know,
Right, they're gone. Party.
Party time!
pot. You know, I've always wondered.
I love that line. Cassandra, make good choices. Make good choices. Go on, Joven.
I've always wondered if, like, Hookfoot was supposed to originally be, like, you know, the piano playing hook hand guys' relative or something. Like, you know.
Yes, they're brothers. We'll actually have an entire episode about that with Brad Garrett returning as Hook Hand eventually. So
I guess
look out for that.
I forget if they mentioned that he's his brother in the first episode or if that was confirmed in a later episode.
There's gonna be a later episode where they occasionally mention it.
Maybe it's
Season
just
3 and episode. Go on.
that explains why I don't recall them. It's like, I always wonder why they didn't just have that be apparent from the get-go. Like, they have similar designs and literally the hook thing.
Alright, testing. I mean, it's doing something.
I mean, we know this show started development like around in 2014, but we don't know what happened behind the scenes during that time. So
Maybe someday. Since Disney Plus seemed to really like to implement documentaries of stuff, granted it's more of recent stuff, but a documentary of the making of this series wouldn't hurt.
Sadly, Jova, the Blu-ray has no special features whatsoever.
Well, hence why I said it would have to be something that's made later and added to Disney Plus, because documentaries do seem to be all the rage with Disney Plus.
Sure. Well, Chris Sonnenberg right now is working at another company, so it will probably not happen. But again, never say never, I guess.
Okay.
Now here's another Alan Menken song. That's one of my favorites.
I thought this was only supposed to happen once a year. Now twice a year I call hacks.
Oh.
They're taking over.
That's a bad thing, I guess.
Well, if cats are eating everything, I mean...
But they'll still multiply.
So all the cats will now live at the palace. Okay.
Cassandra's going to adopt them, it looks like.
Nah, Cassandra doesn't really sound like she's a cat person, most likely. If anything, she would probably be more of a dog person, knowing her.
I could actually see Cassandra secretly liking cats.
But yeah, the thing is that making decision has consequences.
As Shiro would say about that thing with the sheep right now, like, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, like, has nobody invented tagging yet?
Maybe it's like in a JRPG where the citizens of the town are completely hopeless and you have to do everything for them.
I mean, I guess
for all of its problems, Fable 3 had an interesting way to implement this kind of mechanic about kingdom making decisions.
I guess to give him credit, tagging probably wasn't a thing yet. And given how the mentality was, hey, the royalty handles this, which was a mentality bolstered by the royalty themselves, technically they're following the rules of the government, working as it should. What I'm saying is that it's kind of the government's fault that, well, things are this messy.
Okay, well, not one-to-one. It's kind of like what Oversimplified said about the Russian autocracy. Where you're an autocracy, if there is a problem, it's usually your fault.
One more day.
No, we're not doing...
We're not doing this, Twitch. We're not doing this, Twitch. Shut up.
Really, Dwibs? You're resorting to that old chestnut?
Maybe that's what happens. The series goes on because the marriage gets postponed by a deal with Satan.
Yeah. There's an episode of Red Dwarf. Episode of Red Dwarf called Lemons. Funnily enough.
You're dead to me, Rapunzel.
I mean, lemons are sour effectively, but you just need to work with that.
It's interesting because I was never too big on it myself until recently. Now that it's part of my treatment to actually drink lemon juice constantly. Now I've actually it grew on me, basically.
It's where the trick is how to combine them properly. I mean, just put them normally. But yes, it's snowing, so Christmas episode, I guess.
Pretty much.
Some people can't, like my mom, for example. My mom can't drink it without putting in some sugar, but I actually can tolerate the bitterness just fine, personally.
It's also recommended to put on fish. It helps.
I should just drink just the lemon and that's it. I can do that. I don't really need anything else personally, so I'm fine with it.
Oh shit! Now we're apparently in the first Balto movie.
I mean, we are Disney parents. This could be a problem.
Surely you, Justin. Fuck.
You just had to say it.
It was inevitable.
Shit.
Well,
All right, and that was
well, no. Tangled's about Rapunzel's hair, and she's still alive, so.
Oh, what's that? Looks like Varian's dad has some secrets.
He used to be a knight.
Of sorts.
But of what exactly?
Let me
That's a
guess.
nice touch how the show basically tells everything about the fact that Varian's mother is dead without having to literally spell it out.
Yeah, we all know it's Disneyitis.
It literally grew in his lab. What he can do about it?
I mean, he's doing it in Arkham Knight.
I can't tell you, son. We have to wait for a few more seasons. Well, one season, but still.
Roughly, yeah. Alchemy can fix stuff, but it cannot fix your family issues.
Yeah, it can also make some things worse if mishandled.
Well, it's like any tool, then. You know what they say, Teo? Alchemy doesn't kill people. Sloppy alchemists kill people?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Honestly, it's not just sloppy alchemists. Sometimes even good alchemists can kill people. Innocent people.
Snow Day!
Yay!
Global fight.
Cue Vince Guaraldi's snow theme from Peanuts.
Of course.
Figures. Boy, I hope Rapunzel isn't going into conniptions actually having to wear footwear.
Okay, kids, it's time for some lore.
Oh, goody. Hey, this is like a French version of the Moana legend.
It reminded me a bit more of Naughton Ball Mountain, to be fair. Somehow.
Well, he's a scientist too. That's what scientist characters do.
And I'm sure we'll never see them again.
Oh, definitely.
They put this here for no reason.
It's to explain why we've got snow, Shiroi, or why we don't usually get snow.
Oh, I had to be very blunt, bringing immersion for a second. When I saw this in Season 1, I generally thought it was just, a matter of a legend and, nothing else.
Honestly, there's nothing wrong with thinking that, too. Especially since, honestly, yeah. Obvious foreshadowing aside, it's relatively well hidden as something that could just be some extra lore or legend.
Especially...
Give me just a moment. All right, everybody watching the 44-minute version, be sure to pause when I say so.
You're saying...
it also helps that exposition came from a character who usually talks about history and legends of Corona. So
he's the older guy. Uh-oh.
I think they're past the point of great nature.
They're developing Disney-itis.
Pause. There you go.
So,
all right.
Okay, since we're in the intermission, I will say this. I have a bit of a confession. I was kind of never scared for the fate of Rapunzel's parents, because, again, we knew that this was canon to the wedding finale here and there. Yeah. Here is one thing that I would do to try and improve this show. I feel like a lot of the times they try to play the stakes with the characters that we know are going to survive. I feel a better thing to do would be to play stakes with the characters that we don't know are going to make it out alive here and there.
Well, we just have one in this very episode.
Yeah, they're doing that with Variant's dad, which we don't know, so...
Oh, yeah, that. What I mean is, well, obviously the big focus right now, though, is on Rapunzel's parents, given how the cliffhanger ending went there. And, well, again, you would go against continuity on that.
Well, honestly, to me, I got the idea that, as we will see also in the second part, it's more of a case of a means to an end. Sure. A viewer with hindsight knows that the parents probably will be fine, but that is a reason for why some characters have to move away from the location, and that can create more conflict potentially, more than anything.
And also understand that the creators were when they were put in charge of making this series, they were put in a bit of a tough spot, because by the time this show started development, the short was already out, so they had to somehow write the show despite the fact that the short exists. So I can understand that they were kind of in a situation where they couldn't quite because they couldn't quite do things as well as they would have liked, most likely. So.
Oh, I wouldn't fault them for that. It's just that I do feel like sometimes they rely a little too much on putting the characters that we know are going to survive in danger. Now, again, to the show's credit, they do put series original characters who don't show up in the short in danger as well, which does help with those moments here and there. And again, it's not like it's even something that ruins the show as a whole. It's just a little thing that I would have changed up to maybe improve the show, that's all. Anyways,
however, that Rapunzel's parents being in it is actually going to also help with the new characters, specifically ones that I will point out when we start part 2. Speaking of that. Okay, everybody, all of you people watching the 44-minute version, in case you missed my pause at 22:06 mark, right in the black screen before the Sweet Shoppy sign shows up. As for all of the other ones watching Disney Plus, we'll watch the intro. Basically, we're going to skip the intro on this one. Basically.
Oh, really? I feel like it would be better if we just did the intro and then just clued the people who were watching on Blu-ray when to click in.
Yeah, he has a point. All right, somebody tell me and Teo when to press click.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, click. So, yeah, though, I'd say things are heating up, but, well, that's the exact opposite of what's happening.
Waves, what Batman and Robin freezing puns we need for this?
What killed Rapunzel's parents? The Ice Age. There you go.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, I guess that one could work. Well, it'll be ice to see them when they're okay.
Ha.
And of course, the Disney Plus version comes with a handy-dandy previously on segment.
Yeah, this was originally made for the TV, the original TV rerun, which is where they got the Disney Plus episodes from.
I will give them credit. At least they did pick a good point to stop the episode on for max tension and all that.
Oh, sure. I have no problem with
compared to Gravity Falls, yes, it's a better job.
Yeah, Gravity Falls. All right, now.
Sweet.
It's a Monty shop, remember, Glibs?
Yeah, okay then. So yeah, there's a blizzard, so we can't leave.
Oh, sheltering and everything. That's nice.
Yeah, here you go. This is what I was talking about earlier. We're about to get it. There you go, building off from what we've been doing up until this point.
Yay.
And again, as a result, even though there's no tension regarding the death of the parents, the danger of the parents does serve a narrative purpose still.
Good point.
Yep.
No raps, you have to do like Ready Admin.
She's not British enough.
Yeah.
Imagine. Could you imagine if they had the balls to actually kill Maximus off and say that the Max that we see in the wedding finale is actually his son grown up or something?
Shit.
All right, and now we're actually about to get a song that was nominated, didn't win, but if I remember correctly, go on. Sorry.
He's writing a special note here. I'm just gonna say this, folks. If you're watching this along with us, don't bother making theories about it. It'll save you pain. But yes, now we're going to get a song. No, Shiroy, that one still stings.
Alright. Yeah, this is Varian's song. I'll Make You Proud. And it's the standout song of the special, obviously.
Okay, no, but the song is fine, and the singer is actually great from being from Broadway and everything. But it sounds scarily closer to "Accidentally in Love" from Smash Mouth.
It does, doesn't it? It's got the same rhythm and hooks. Well, not the same hooks, but
that actually is a good segue. Dwebs, you talked about him not sounding like a 15-year-old. It's interesting because for the Portuguese dub, the guy they got to play Varian is a guy who specializes in teenage boys, and he sounds perfectly in age.
I'd say Varian's fine enough. Like, teenager, puberty, deeper voice.
Yeah, we mentioned I mentioned Gravity Falls previously. Again, compared to stuff like Deeper, this is much better in terms of relation.
I actually have no problem with Jeremy Jordan. I think he's great in this show, so there's nothing, no complaints from me. And like Jova said, yeah, this man can definitely sing.
That said, kid, is now really the time to be singing. Like, your dad is constantly being crystallized
right now, especially in a blizzard.
Yeah,
don't you see, Jova? It keeps him focused. So
it'd be funny if he was singing, but then he's just jumping over that thing he fell to death, and then like the last word in that song was him stretching that out as he fell. Just believe in me.
There's Owl.
Damn, he got smaller than his Winnie the Pooh days. What happened?
No, this is a different Owl.
Nice that you can understand him, but Cassandra. Fairy. Okay. Fairy tales, really? Again with the arbitrary skepticism.
In a world where a princess has really long golden hair that could heal people, but still.
Hold on. Sorry, Varian, we're kind of busy here. Not that we don't. It's not that we don't want to help you. It's just that right now is not a good time.
Okay, maybe we can put it in a way that doesn't sound so dickish, Nigel.
Yeah, like Rapunzel was handling it the best she possibly could. You just had to ruin it.
And they have the guards just throw him out. Hey, maybe tell the guards to let him go, Rapunzel.
That's the thing. Like, I guess she panicked.
Okay. I will admit, yeah, stressful situation. I'm not the biggest fan of how that exchange was handled, since at the very least Rapunzel could have yelled to the guards, hey, let him go. Like, yeah, obviously she can't help him right now, but just letting the guards throw him out when he literally told her that his dad's in danger, ooh, yeah, that's not a good mood. And like I mentioned, Nigel just made things worse. Now, okay, believe it or not, apparently there was a lot of backlash to how Nigel acts in this, and the showrunners actually took that to heart, since Season 3 actually does explain why he's like this, so kudos to the writers on that.
Even in general, Rapunzel's actually in this very episode will have consequences for the rest of the series.
Not to mention, I can't believe that she panicked and she didn't really know what to say and do in that particular moment. You know, because she's inexperienced in this.
I'll admit, I always found that a little bit convoluted, but you know what? It's not to the point where it ruins the whole special for me. It's kind of a bit of an eyebrow raiser thing, but
also,
again,
good thing that the carriage landed on the one, solitary island that was, landing. Okay, in this angle it's a bit better because it's on, close to a ravine. But in the previous shot, it looked like it was just a piece of rock standing in the middle of a precipice.
I know, right? Oh, Lance, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Lance.
Damn.
You know, I'll give him credit for a kingdom that apparently has not had snow in eons. At least they did have the forethought to have winter outfits, thank goodness. Okay, Rapunzel, you know Elsa! Get in contact with her and get her to help control the storm.
Okay, do we know if her cameo in the first Frozen is, before or after the marriage?
Actually, I can answer that. Remember, Rapunzel has her short brown hair in that cameo, so you can make an argument that it's after the short.
It could also be...
As in after the whole franchise. You know?
Well, remember, it could be before the franchise as well, too, since, Remember, at the start of this show, she technically did have her brown short hair as she does at Arendelle. And yeah.
I was frozen today.
Well, more like encased, but yeah.
In amber.
Honestly, part of me does wonder if they did at some point have plans to have this, to have the characters from Frozen show up as well. Since, okay, it has been confirmed that, yes...
Again, much like at the beginning, Jova, since we mentioned that, I'll get back to you on this whole thing at the very end of the series.
Oh, boy. Well, let's see. It's only medieval times, so that kid's probably going to be dead.
Pneumonia for everyone!
Hooray! What kind of advice is that? Is your heart going to show us the way to a place that doesn't have us freeze? Cassandra, you're talking to a girl who literally had magical hair that could help a woman stay alive for a long time. Is a machine buried deep within the castle walls really that outlandish?
This is one of those things, Jova, where writers, I guess when writers write stuff like franchises like these, again, same thing with the arbitrary skepticism in Leighton and other franchises that you can think of. I guess writers think that having the characters always believe in everything makes it hard to create conflict. Maybe.
I mean, honestly, okay. There are better ways to handle arbitrary skepticism, like maybe...
Case in point, the X-Files series.
Yes, I know. X-Files is probably one of the best ones, since, to their credit, those are, way different avenues.
You do have a character that actually believes in everything, and one that actually doesn't. And the conflict is all about who is right.
Now, while it can...
The end of the series fucked it over, but...
you can make an argument that that's kind of the whole thing with, Rapunzel is Mulder and...
Okay, but the difference is that in that one, though, they are going through much different avenues, which at least gives a sense as to why Scully doesn't always believe in there. In this regard, though... Oh, yeah, Avalanche. The problem with versions like this in Leighton is no, the characters who have skepticism are the characters who it makes the absolute least sense to have skepticism about these certain things.
it's kind of like one problem, one thing that I actually do actually think as well, like is in Sonic Colors, where Tails for some reason has trouble believing that Eggman has an evil plot, even though that's all he does all the time.
Yeah. Like, I like Sonic
He doesn't have any other hobbies, like, at all.
Yes, Shoba?
I guess, yeah. Like, I suppose story-wise the idea was that Eggman was hiding it so well, but no, that is technically under a bout of arbitrary skepticism as well.
Yeah, did a bang-up job.
Oh dear. They're working on it too.
The joke that I usually like to make is, you know, Scully, the truth really is out there. It's just that it turns out that the truth is incredibly stupid.
Hey, good! Now we have a fire to warm everyone up with.
Maybe a bit too much.
And after this, a meteorite falls on top of the castle.
Really? That was so...
This is just that one day where everything goes wrong.
That was so powerful an explosion that it literally ripped through stone and mortar. Holy cow. Ooh.
Fancy.
So,
And like I mentioned in our Final Fantasy VIII playthrough, I get the feeling somebody in the production crew is a fan of that game because, again, the room in Balam Garden where we find the big device that controls the garden is very similar to how the Dementor's
Well, it
device.
is based on old models of astrolabiums, which were used to study, you know, the planets.
I guess to be fair, everything's got its fans.
Oh, sure. I have no issue with that. I'm just saying. Also, those things look like tennis balls.
Kinda are, yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
I also want to praise Kevin Cleish's score, which he's even better than usual for this particular special.
Sky beam away!
Probably like that's probably like the one thing. Okay, again, we've talked about this.
Of
before.
course.
We've debated this particular thing regarding this show before, but one particular aspect of this show that I will definitely stand my ground on it being underappreciated because I never hear anybody talk about it is the music, and I mean the music outside of the songs, like the score, because the score is actually really good for a TV cartoon standards.
Are you referring to like the usual video essays about this show or something? Or
Yeah. Usually when people make some essays, they never really bring up the score. They bring up the songs, but they don't really bring up the score. And I do believe the score is worth bringing up and praising as well. So.
I suppose the way I see it is like, well, it's kind of like a matter of fact, like that people don't always feel the need to bring up. It's like, oh, good background music here and there. Like, that is something that doesn't always get brought up in video essays, if only because, well, it's kind of self-explanatory, and, like, you know, we don't usually assume it's bad unless it's mentioned. Now, again, it is nice when it gets mentioned. I guess my take is like, well, my guess is like, well, it's not necessarily underappreciated so much as it is that people usually don't feel the need to always touch base on it.
It's just that for me, like I'm a huge fan. Like I'm a huge appreciator of the work composers put into scores. So I feel like just like everything else in the show, it deserves its time in the spotlight as well.
No, sorry, show.
Pascal.
Well, that's a Disney death if ever I've seen one. 'Cause, yeah, no, they're not killing Pascal.
I mean, what about the merch?
The merch, and again, the wedding shorts.
Yeah, Yeah, we've talked about this. Again,
Though you do raise a good point, though, with the merch. Like,
I do. Again, like I said, like I do at the very. I will give the showrunners some slack because they had that show. Here's the thing, and here's the thing for me. I'm not even a fan of that particular show. Even before this show came on, I never particularly cared for that short. I mean, it's not that it's bad, but it's just such a waste of a short that doesn't really do anything interesting, at least for my opinion. So honestly, to me, that short, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I don't know, like, so I do sympathize with them being, like, well, we have to do with that short.
I mean, okay, look, even without the short, I wouldn't have bought that they were actually going to kill Pascal. Like, the short is just the ultimate confirmation.
Details, king, details.
I mean, now granted, I personally like the short. I don't really find anything wrong with it. Hey, look, he's okay.
I mean, we knew that, but Rapunzel didn't.
Bit bruised.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's pretty beat up.
Yeah, might want to take him to see the vet.
Did you actually go to the fisticuff with a fucking machine?
Sure, why not? If you can beat up a car in a fighting game, why not have a chameleon fighting with gears?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunny again.
Yes.
Who hurt you, Tio?
It should be a shame if that is something wrong. So basically, Tio, what you're saying is that you're the one that shot that rabbit at the beginning of the winter arc of Last of Us Part 1.
Of course.
Tio's the one who created the holy hand grenade.
So yeah, the day saved. I'm sure there's nothing we're forgetting about.
Nah, we're good.
Rapunzel hasn't forgotten as you're about to hear. To be fair, it's just that.
Yeah, maybe you should go check up on that, Rapunzel. Like, no, seriously, nothing's stopping you. Go check up on Varian. You are literally the basis for a fairy tale, Rapunzel, and you know what? That fairy tale turned out to be true anyway.
Yeah, being
boy.
is tough. So.
I want something more in life. Ah, that's just a Disney princess talking in your princess.
Joe, it's like they said in the pilot, like there's more in you. So she does want to see that more. So yeah, that makes sense.
Now seriously, let's go check up on Varian. No? Okay.
Hold on. And now here's the reprise. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the villain of season 1.
So
I do commend the writers for having the balls to take a character that we do like and have him go through a negative arc, because again, that's something that you don't typically see a lot often. Again, you can tell a lot of the people who worked on Avatar: Last Airbender who worked on this show, because yeah, it does have some of that DNA.
So here's my take. Sorry, did you want to go, Dwibs?
Well, we don't even get to the pop song. Actually, the show remembers to have a fucking tone in the credits.
Well, that's only because they use like the usual intro theme for the ending credits. But you were saying
they did that for part 1 as well, by the way. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, honestly, he can't be that much of a villain. I mean, the guy who really instigated the whole Rapunzel not being able to help him thing was was a rubbish assistant. So
Nigel, yeah.
that's going to be. So Nigel's going to be the one who takes it all out on, right?
Okay.
Yes.
It's more on a generic. Also, the next couple of episodes will showcase, give also an extra kind of reason why he might have targeted specifically Rapunzel. So because
to Dweebs' credit, it is his equivalent to first impressions. It's like if he were watching the show the first time. And to his credit, yeah, a lot of people weren't happy with Nigel either. He was kind of considered not well beloved by a lot of the fan base. Like I mentioned, apparently the backlash was so bad that they actually had to write for him a bit of redemption in season 3 where they explain why he did this.
I couldn't give a shit about Nigel. Not in the sense of even, respecting the character. I just, always saw him in the background or anything.
Oh, but that's the thing, though. Like it or not, Nigel is the main instigator for Varian's turn to darkness. Oh yeah, now mind you, Rapunzel herself doesn't help it either. Here's my take on this. I love Varian's career as a villain. He is great. The issues I have are the stuff that leads up to it, though. Like I mentioned, Nigel is an absolute big prat on it, and yeah, no, I kind of have a bit of a hard time believing that Rapunzel did not at least tell the guards not to manhandle him, and again, maybe in the...
She actually did say don't hurt him.
Yeah, she did.
Now, and you know what, that moment could have been been excused as panicking. The off thing, though, is that she doesn't immediately go to check on Varian as soon as stuff is handled back here.
Okay, that is fair.
That's the thing. It's those two things combined. If it was just one of those things, okay, fair and fine. The fact, though, that she never goes to check on Varian, wow! I do think that this is something that the writers probably didn't intend from this, but it's not a good look from Rapunzel. And to his credit, Varian kind of starts, yes, he does become a villain. He does try to handle the stuff arguably reasonably before he escalates stuff. So, yeah, no, I love Varian as a villain. I just don't care for how the writers got us to that point when you actually analyze it. That being said, though, the special Princess for a Day as a whole, very good, honestly. We finally get to see stuff in sort of the dark tone that the movie could have as well. That's nice. The stakes are raised very well overall. And again, I do like how we do get to see a little hint of Rapunzel actually handling royalty truly in her guise here and there. And I do feel that it's a good showing overall. So, now that things can, for now, calm down, tune in for episode 18, Painter's Block.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.